Hello, welcome to Ekidel, where we train future civil and structural engineer. Today, I'll be showing you a full structural design of a hostel building, or you can say a dormitory building. As you can see this building right now, this is a dormitory building. As you can see it having a ground floor and also a first floor and second floor, which is typical. So the first floor and second floor plan, they are typical, but why the ground floor plan is different. And also you can see the front elevation of the hostel building, or you can also call it dormitory building. And then you can also see the left view. You can see the left view here, and also the right view, and the back view, and the roof plan, and then the section, which is the section 1, and also section 2, and then the door and window schedule. So this is a full architectural plan which we now want to begin to perform the structural design of this dormitory or hostel building. So right now, once you will get your building plan, just like from your design architect, the first thing to do as a structural engineer is to copy the floor plan out. So you always copy the floor plan out. Don't begin your general arrangement drawing, which simply means your column position and your paneling on your original plan. So always try to copy it out so that you can have a backup in case you make any mistake. You can just refer to what you have there. So right now on this place, as you can see that this plan is very busy because this building is around 80 meters, very long building, 80 meters by 30 by 34 meters, okay, by 33.5 meters long, as you can see there. So this is a very large building, which you will have to we will have to introduce an expansion joint during the structural detailing. And if you look at the plan very well, the plan also came with an expansion joint of at least 25 millimeter. You can see it very here. And also on this side, it also has an expansion joint. So on this video, you will have to learn a lot on the structural design, because I think we have not done any building on expansion joint design on this channel Ekidel. So, but before we start, if I will say that you should subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss our coming videos. And if you are already a subscriber, I say thank you so much. Now, I'm gonna drop this CAD file, this hostel CAD file, on the link down below so that you can also download it and then follow up with this design, because we believe that it is only when you use the same CAD file that we use to perform or to make a video on the design that you can be able to like grab all the steps that we have used. But if you don't want to also get the file, you can also use a different file which maybe you have, and then follow the same steps, and they are all the same. But if you can afford it, it is still okay, because the CAD file is around 4 point something dollars. Okay, so right now, once you have copied your plan, the first thing to do is to remove all unnecessary elements, which, as you can see here right now, this plan came with axes and also grid lines, and came with dimension of which as a structural engineer, you are not meant to use these grid lines that came with a drawing. You, as a structural engineer, is meant to introduce or create your own grid lines. So right now, I'm going to remove all these grid lines, and then we will have to introduce our own structural grid lines. Okay, so I'll just click to now remove that right now. I'll be using a shortcut to make this work faster. So I'll just click on one of them right now, and then I'll click on right click, and I'll say select similar. And now don't forget that we already have original plan here. So I'll just hold my shift and deselect these ones, because I want to only I want to only take off these grid lines from this copied plan here. So I'll just type E and I'll press enter. E means erase. So then I'll also look at this again, these dimensions here. I don't need them. So I'll select the dimension and select this circular line here by click and say select similar. Okay, now I will now also go here and then deselect this one also, because this is the original one. So I'll select that this is the original one, which I also draw for you guys on this on this video description. Now this AutoCAD development will like tend to be hanging because this building is a very large building. So I'll just click on E and press enter to erase. Now you can now see that our plan now is now coming up very, very well. I'll also remove this section line that was called by the design architect. So I'll take it up also. The whole idea is to make is to make your reading plan very simple, because we are trying to now prepare it for a structural design. So when you're preparing for a structural design, you have to make your drawing very, very simple. I'll also locate what is this here and then locate this. So I click and say select similar, and then I'll just go and select if anyone is here, select that, and then press E, enter. E means erase. Now looking at this also have a void, as you can see here on the first floor and second floor, which is typical. It has a void here. You can see the void here. Why on this place you can see that this is a closed courtyard. So, and if you also look at it from the roof plan here, you also see that the roof is also open, which I think it is open to give air or ventilation to this dormitory, because it's a very big dormitory that the windows alone will not be able to give enough ventilation to this building. That's why they have to make the roof of this area open. Okay, so right now, let me go again and then go back to where we have right now. So this is what we have just done right now. I also remove this and take this off, and then now I'll also remove this hash. I don't need this hash here, so I'll just right click and select similar, and then I will now go again and deselect if I've already selected it here. Okay, so I'll go here and deselect here. Okay, I'll wait for it to finish up and then go again. I think the same hash they use for the roof, I'll also deselect it here. Okay, I'll wait for it to come to finish up, and then I'll just type E, enter, and you will see it going up here. So the same void that we have here, it's the same void that we have here also. This place is also a void. So I'll just go right now and copy the symbol of void. This void is this is a symbol of void. So I'll copy this void right now onto my ground floor, because we are not trying to prepare the we are trying to prepare right now the general arrangement structural drawing, which simply means to position our grid and columns and paneling. Okay, so right now this still means void. So this simply tells us that there won't be any floor slab here or concrete slab here. So this place will be void all the way down to the roof. As you can see, the roof just here being void. Okay, so right now, once you're done removing all unnecessary elements that came with the plan, just as we have done, let me also click this and then right click and select similar and remove these unnecessary things also that came here. So you can now see what we have got right now. This is how your plans is meant to look like. Okay, so right now we will now have to begin to create our structural grid. Now, the software which we will be using for the structural design is Prota Structure software. As we all know, it is one of the most powerful softwares which we have today in the structural design industry, in the building structural design industry, and we will be using the Prota Structure to perform the structural design. So for you to export your plan, for you to export your building plan or into Prota Structure, you must have to create two layers, one for grid and one for columns. Only by you creating those two layers, grid, line, and column, that the software Prota Structure will be able to now recognize that this is a building plan. So right now, I will now click on this place and then go to this place here, say new, create new, and I'll first of all create the first layer. I'll call it grid, and then I will choose any color which I want. If you want to choose color, but the whole idea is that this should be called grid. So I'll go, let me choose I'll choose yellow. I'll choose this orange or yellow, yellow for my grid lines, and I'll choose my line type. So my line width to be 0.05, and I'll choose my line type. Let me just choose let me leave it as continuous, and then I'll go again right now, click on new, and then type this place called column. So these are the two layers which we are meant to create. One you call it grid and one you call it column. So I can choose the color line for this column, the color code as green, and I'll choose my line width to be 0. Let me say 0.50, Okay, so right now I will now go here and click on close. Now, if I go here, and you can see that we have created we have created this grid line called this layer called grid line, and also this layer called column. So it is just these two, this column and this grid line layer, that we will now use to perform our general arrangement drawing, which simply means positioning your column and also paneling. Now, this staircase that is here, this is just a mini staircase which is not needed to be seen on our structural drawing. So I'll just remove that, because we don't consider all these smaller staircase for in our structural design, because this staircase are just there to help you to climb up to the DPC level. So I think a mass concrete can be able to carry that any load imposed on it. So we will remove all that. But this staircase that is here, these are structural staircase which we have to design for, and we will be using the CAMSUIT civil software, which is KCSoft software, which we have been teaching on this channel. There's a software used to design and also detail automatically staircase. So we will be using that software, KCSoft, when we get to the stage of designing of our staircase structurally and also detailing. Okay, so right now we have done this. So this is what we have just now, as you can see it now. So we will now begin to create our grid lines. So I'll go here and then activate my layer grid line. Now, once you activate your layer grid line, this place here must be set by layer, which is the color, and this line type must be set by layer, and this line width must be set by layer, as you can see, all are layers. And then to create your grid line, for the software or Prota Structure to be able to understand that that's an axis or a grid line, you must have to use a construction line to create your grid lines. What I mean by that is that you just press XL, which simply means a shortcut or a short code for this line here, which is called construction line. So I'll type enter, and I want to start creating my vertical lines, my vertical grid lines. So I'll type V, enter. As you can see right now, this is called a construction line. This is what the software needs you to use to create your axis or your grid line. Now, if you go ahead and go and use a line here, you can use a line, it will not going to show as an axis or a grid line in the software or Prota Structure. So I would say that you should always use because a construction line to perform your structural design, your axis, or to create your axis. Sorry. So right now I'll type XL. First of all, I'll have to know the midpoint of this wall, because we have to create grid lines at the midpoint of every wall. So I'll just go here and locate my midpoint here, and I'll type XL, enter, V, enter. The whole idea of me creating this division line here is to locate the is to it's just to locate the mid point of this wall, because you have to create insert your axis or your grid line at the midpoint of every wall. Okay, except maybe in some cases where the building plan is different, then you cannot choose to insert your grid line at the edges or anywhere which is suitable. But for now, I want my columns to be placed at the center of the walls. So I have to also insert my grid lines at the center of the walls. Now there is a column here, a simple column here, so which to be placed at the midpoint. So I will go here right now and click on this to place that grid line there, so that we can be able to insert columns when it's time for column. Okay, so also go the same way again here, and click here. So the whole idea right now is to create all your vertical grid lines at the midpoint of every wall, and when you're done with the vertical grid lines, you do the same for the horizontal walls. So you have to create also a horizontal grid lines at the midpoint of every horizontal walls. Okay, so right now I'll just be creating that just now, just to make this video duration very to make the length of this duration of this video not too long. So I'll have to just continue with this very fast way. Okay, and then do that. Now there is what we call Ekidel mentorship program, where I will train people specially, where I will train people separately on structural design. So if maybe you need that, I would say that you should click on the link down below, and then enroll yourself for the training, which will have to train you specially. Okay, so let me just continue right now, copy this copy this, and then CP, enter, copy from base point here, and then begin to click all the vertical walls. I believe that now you can see that all my vertical walls have a uniform width of at least 225 millimeter, which simply means a 9 inches block wall. So that is why you see me clicking at at the base point, as you can see there. So right now, but the whole idea is that your grid line must be placed at the midpoint of every wall. So now this video might look very boring, but I would say that if you want to be good, I would say that if you want to be good in structural design, I would say that you should spend most or you should spend the time to watch every all the parts of the video, because there are some things which I'll be saying, which is the guiding principles for design, which maybe if you skip it, you might be able to miss that. Okay, so I'll just do that right now. Now, most of you spend 5 years, 4 years, 3 years in the higher institution, and you are not introduced to this, and no one was there to teach you all this. So now that you have the privilege, I would say that you should spend the time and then learn it very well, because for me, I spent my time to learn it. That's why I'm here to like teach you. Okay, so let me just finish up with what I'm doing right now by doing this also, and then let me just create this one, and then go here and create this one. Okay, do the same thing here and do the same thing here. Now you can see that this building is very, very massive, but I'll say that if you use this CAD file to perform your training, you will see that you'll be very, very good in your training, okay, in your practice, and also in your structural design career as a civil engineer. Okay, so I'm done placing my vertical grid line, sorry. Okay, this is also there, so you have to take thorough time to check if that you don't miss any of them, because if you miss any of them, it's going to cause some issues if you go to Prota Structure, which will take you much time to now begin to edit them there. Okay, so I'll say you should spend all the whole time here, and then make sure your general alignment drawing, which is your GA drawing, is very, very okay and very, very good. So that's what I'm doing right now. Now, once I am done creating all my grid lines right now, the next thing I'll do is now begin to create my horizontal grid line, which I'll do the same thing again. Find the midpoint of this wall by clicking here, and then type XL, enter, H, enter, which is for horizontal, and locate the midpoint and click on it, and then go here, select this one, and just delete it immediately. Now go again, copy this right now, CP, and begin to place it. Copy a reference point and begin to place all my grid lines at the midpoint of every wall, which I'm doing just now. So I'm placing this grid line right now at the midpoint of every horizontal walls, which I also place here now. Okay, and then I'll place this one here now too. Let me just use a reference wall to place them that. Sorry, place this here. Okay, and then place this here and place this here. That's nice. And I'll go again just now and then place this here also. And I'll go again and place this here and place this here. And I'll go again and place this here. Okay, and place this here. Okay, and also place this here also. Okay, and then if I'm done placing all my horizontal grid lines and all that, next thing to do, I'll also locate this. This is not yet placed. I'll place this here. So you have to spend all the time to make sure that you have done all what you're meant to do to place all your grid lines. Because when we enter Prota Structure, if you don't do this, then you see that you will see that the number of time you took in when you're preparing your modeling will take much time. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking my time right now to place my grid lines. Okay, so I'm doing just that right now, and I'm doing that. Okay, to do this also, place this here, and then okay, I'm done with almost the grid lines now. So okay, so once you're done placing all your grid lines, the next thing to do right now is to now you can see that since this is a construction line, you can see that it has no end. So you have to now make sure that you trim it to a certain range, which will be okay with I would say that you should just use your eye gauge to use it like this, and place this, and then select this right now, type TR, which is trim, and begin to trim off these excessive lines that is here, just to have your shorten all your grid lines shortened. Okay, so right now you can now see what we have done, that we have shortened our grid lines to this very right now. So the next thing to do right now is now begin to insert for column. So I'll go here right now and then choose my column layer as it is here. Here must be by layer and by layer. Now to now insert your column, or to begin to place your column, the software Prota Structure requires you to don't use line to create your column, because else it will not show on the software. So always use polyline. Polyline is good. This polyline here, either you use polyline or you use this rectangle icon. So I will have to use this rectangle icon right now, place my column. Now to place your column, I will just assume a default column. As you are the software engineer, you are meant to assume the size of your column first. Then along the line, after the design, if there is any failure, you cannot go ahead to go and increase your column size. But so right now, at least the minimum size of column to use is 225 by 225 millimeter. So right now, I'll go here, or the simplest way also is to go and click on the first wall here and click at the last place here, and then copy it out to confirm the length, just to dimension it if it is okay of to what you want. Let me just click here, dimension, and then go here and check this out just now if it is what I want. So if I check this out just now, you can see that this is 225, and also by let me check the width by 225, I believe, I presume. Let me check that. Okay, so right now you can see that this is a square column, so I'll just copy it right now or move it, locate the midpoint and pick it from the midpoint, and then go ahead right now and then placing it at the place. Okay, it's already here, and I'll go ahead again and place one here. Now column distance between column, as for since you are a beginner in structural design, I would say that you should be guided. Let your column distance should be at least 6 meters. The reason why I'm saying that is because that you will not have time, you will not have issues in your modeling until when you are strong enough to now begin to go ahead to at least 11 meters, 10 meters long spacing in concrete building. That is when, but for now that you are starting up, I would say that you should limit yourself to at least the maximum distance for column should be at least 6 meters. So right now, you see I'm placing my columns just now. So I'll just place your column. Now placing your columns it depends solely on you as a structural engineer. Now you have to place your column. As a structural engineer, you have to decide which area you want to place your column. Now the guiding principles for you to place your column is that first, know that for as a beginner, let your column to column distance should not be more than 6 meters. If it is more than 6 meters, it is advisable to break it up as it is like this. Let me assume that this is more than 6 meters, which I'll check later. So once your column to column is more than 6 meters, I'll say that you should place a column at the midpoint at the midpoint in between those two columns. Okay, that will help you a lot. Okay, but when you are now strong enough, then you can now begin to go to at least 10 point something meters. I have designed a concrete length of beam, which is column to column of 11.5 meters. Okay, so you can see that rely on based on how many years experience you have. Like me, I have 10 years experience already, so you can see that I can tell you with authority, because all my 10 years of experience is not just staying anywhere. I have been practicing right from my final year in the high school, in the college. I have been practicing, and you can see how okay, so let us go right. So the whole idea right now is to begin to place your columns at the place where you think column will be nice to put, and always try to hide your columns. Let your columns should not come out visibly. Okay, so right now you can see what I'm doing. So once you're placing your columns and you're done placing your columns, that's why I say you have to use this cat file so that you can be able to follow up and complete any stage which I did finish. Because since this building is very big, I will pause this video in a bit and then complete my column positioning. Just the reason why I'm posting it is just to reduce this video duration, else it will take like up to 3 hours, because this building is big, and then it will take like 3 hours, which may like look boring to you. So right now I'm going to pause the video so that I'll finish up my column position and then come back when I'm done positioning my column, which you will see also. And I also attach this my general element drawing on the CAD file, so that when you download so that when you download this plan, or when you get this plan, then you can also see the way I arrange my column, and then follow the guiding principles which I've told you, that the column spacing to spacing should at least not be more than 6 meters as a beginner. Okay, so right now I'm going to pause this video and then come back when I'm done with the column positioning. Okay, so right now, watch out and then stay tuned. Okay, so as you can see it right now, I am done placing all my columns. As you can see, the reason why I paused the video, because placing these columns will take a longer time, because this building is a very massive one, over 80 meters by 35 meters long. So as you can see it here, I have done placing my columns. I just use the same simple rules which I told you for your column placing, that let your column distance should not be more than 6 meters. And if you check all my columns here, they are below 6 meters interval. So as you can see, if you check this one also, they are all below 6 meters interval. So once you follow the same rules, and during your column placement, and then you see that all your GA will like appear very, very good. So I will also attach this my column framing on this CAD file, so that if in case you don't know how to place the column very well, you can still download or get this CAD file, and then you will see how I place my columns, which will also guide you on how to place your column from the original plan. Okay, so also you can also go to other of our videos where we taught a lot on how to place your columns if you cannot afford this CAD file, which is less than 4 point something dollars. Okay, so right now, once you're done placing your columns on your ground floor, because you are meant to do your GA or perform your column placement on your ground floor. So once you're done placing your columns on your ground floor, the next thing to do is to perform a superimpose, because right on this place called the first floor and second floor, we also have we are meant to check if these columns that we have put on the ground floor are going to fit in to the exact positions on this first floor, or if there is a cantilever, then we cannot know how to handle that area. So we have to copy the columns we have to now copy the columns onto this first floor and second floor plan. So right now I'm going to highlight just this ground floor by click, and then go to this place, quick select, and then click on this place layer and select the type of layer which I want to just select. So I want to just select only just the columns, so I'll just pick only the column as you can see there, and I'll just click on copy, and copy from this reference point here, and then I will just move over. Now you can see that I am copying just the columns, as you can see there. So I want to check if the columns will fit in at the same position on this first floor and second floor plan. So I'll go again and paste on that reference point, and then I'll click on enter, and I will check here. Right now you can see that all our columns are at the same position from the ground floor onto the first and second floor, as you can see. So you have to take your time right now to now check if there is any column coming out on empty space, and if there is any column coming out on empty space, you will just mark that column and take a good note at that column, so that when you go to the design using the software Prota Structure, you can now take care of that column. Okay, right now you can see that these 3 columns here are coming out on empty space. I think at this first and second floor there is no beam running to this side, because as you can see that on the ground floor there is a wall on this side. As you can see that there is a wall on this other place here, but when you come to, sorry, this is it here, there is a wall on this other side here, but when you come to the first floor area here and second floor, there is no wall here. So right now I'm going to take note of these 3 columns, because when we go and model our first floor using the software Prota Structure, we are going to terminate these 3 columns at the first floor slab, and they will not follow us onto the second floor slab. So right now I'll just change the color to magenta, or let me choose here. I'll change the color to magenta color, or let me just use here magenta color is okay. So right now when I see any color, sorry, this text is already magenta, let me use yellow. So I'll just use yellow color. So once I see any yellow color column, that means that column is going to terminate on the first floor slab, because it shows that the column is coming out on empty space and there is no wall to hide that column. So right now you can see what I have done. So we have done all this right now. You can see how it took us time. Actually, it took me over 30 minutes to perform this full general column positioning. So that was why I paused the video, but you can get this CAD file if you can afford that. Okay, so right now, once you're done placing your columns, and then you have done also a superimpose on the first floor, and I've taken note of all the columns that we're going to terminate and the columns that we're going to extend onto the next floors, then what you have to do right now is to now save this particular one, just the ground floor plan here. You have to save it separately for which you will now use to export to the software Prota Structure. As you can see that in this drawing environment, we have several drawings here. But when you want to export to Prota Structure, the only one you export is the one that you have performed the structural framing, which is this one here. So right now, I'm going to just copy this, not copy, I'll just highlight this one right now and type the keyword W and say enter. That W simply means that you want to save this drawing alone, just this one alone, separately on a different drawing environment using the format of AutoCAD saving as DSF. So right now I'll copy this place. I'll just click on that place right now. Look at where I click on these three dots here, this button here, and then a dialog box appears right now. They will ask me where I want to save it. So I'll go right now and go and choose a folder. Let me go and choose a folder of a hotel. I think we already have this hotel on our list of our drawings here. So let me just open this. Is a live project, so this is my client, Engineer Akin. So right now I'll just go and I'm designing for a hotel, sorry, for a hostel building. So I'll just open here right now and then type my file name. I'll type my file name, hostel building design. Okay, now this now becomes my file name right now. Now on this place called the file, this place called the file type, which simply means the file format, you have to choose. You can see that AutoCAD uses two types of saving method to save your drawings or your file. It uses DWG and also DSF. Now, Prota Structure requires you to save your drawing on DSF format. So any drawing that you want to export to Prota Structure, it is required for you to save it as a DSF format. As you can see, on this upper side, they are all DWG, and on this downside, they are all DSF. So you have to choose any of the DSF here. So I'll just choose this one, the higher version of, for now, on this place, DSF 2018. So I'll just choose that right now and then click on this place, save. Now, if you don't choose this as a DSF, your drawing will not show in Prota Structure when you export it. So you must choose DSF format for this drawing that you have done your framing to show on the software Prota Structure. So right now I'll just click here and click on save and then click on OK, and then you wait for it to finish up here, because okay, now right now it has finished up right now. So let's confirm just now if that file is on the place where we saved that. So you can see it here, Engineer Akin Hostel, and you can see the file here which we have just saved, and it is in a DSF format. So right now we will now go back and then go and open our software Prota Structure. It is now time for us to move to the software Prota Structure, because we have already saved the file which we want to export to the software Prota Structure, as you can see it here right now. So right now we are moving to the next stage of this video training of this hostel structural design training. So we are moving to the next stage right now. We are done with the part 1, and on the part 2 right now we are moving into the full structural modeling, and on part 3 we will now perform the full design, and in part 4 we will now we will also check on the part 4 we will also check for the columns and the beams which are failing, and on the part 5 we will perform the foundation design, and we will be using a RAT foundation for this hostel building design. And on part 6 we will now export back to this place, back to this software AutoCAD, and on part 7 we will now perform the full structural detailing using the customized Prota Structure template, which is the stone bridge company template to perform the full structural detailing. Okay, so you can now see that we are just on part 1, and you have a lot of parts to cover up for you to master and to know how to design buildings, and also how to design for raft foundations here in Prota Structure. So if you find this video very, very useful, I would say that you should click on the subscribe button and also share this video to your WhatsApp, Facebook, and all that, and also call your friends to come and know what we are doing right here on Ekidel. So right now we are done with the part 1, and watch out for the part 2, and God bless you. We love you.